Right, let's hope this works this time. We've done this, I think this is the fourth time recording this video, and it's failed each time for some reason. So, maybe I'm just not meant to do this one. But Jerry asks a great question. He says, when you were marathon training, did it cause you to slim down and lose any muscle mass? There's so much noise online from trainers who are so anti-running, coming out with all sorts of reasons not to do it. Lost muscle mass is one I see over and over. And yeah, it is. Exactly. You do see it over and over. We see all sorts of coaches, trainers saying even that people shouldn't run full stop. And that's nonsense. So let's start at the beginning. When you were marathon, did it cause you to slim down and lose any muscle mass? Yes. Yes, it did. When I was training for the Dublin Marathon, and I've done other endurance running events, yeah, I slimmed down and I lost muscle mass. Reason being, I tend to dedicate myself to one thing. So when I'm training for a running event, my training revolves around training for this running event. That means a diet. That means I'm not doing so much heavy lifting. I spend a lot of time running, and as a response, I lose muscle mass. That's all right. Now, does it mean that's always going to happen? Short answer, no, it does not. So, why do coaches, why do people say don't run? Why do they think it will kill your gains? And it's a fair question. I do think a lot of people, I mean, you can look at the figures, people get injured running. A lot of people get injured and hurt running. In my mind, the reason for that is they're unprepared. They're taking a body that is unprepared for that level of work, and they're just going out, bang. They have to go out running very quickly. They've either done too much too soon, tried to progress too fast, or they just weren't ready in the first place. And yeah, they get hurt. It's not that we should do a minimum amount of strength training, or there are minimum strength standards we should achieve before we run. But yeah, it would be a good idea. Like if you can't do a few lunges, if you're getting out of breath walking up and down the stairs, if your knees hurt walking down the stairs, maybe you shouldn't be running. Maybe you should be clearing these issues, getting a little bit stronger, moving a little bit better, and then going running. Right now, in the last few years, we've seen this beautiful resurgence of Zone 2 and this term, hybrid athlete, coming about. I think Alex Viada first mentioned the hybrid athlete. It was certainly his work where I first read about this term, hybrid athlete, where now we're doing strength work and we're doing Zone 2 aerobic work. That's what we used to call bodybuilding and cardio way back when. Long, slow, boring cardio died a death in the, I'd say, late noughties, because high intensity just took over everything. And we had the rise of CrossFit. CrossFit rose on the back of this high intensity era. Funnily enough, now that Zone 2's crept its way back in, we have High Rocks. Coincidence? Who knows? But if you're, I saw a great meme, mediocre in the gym, mediocre at running, you're a hybrid athlete. But really, that's you don't need to be a hero in the gym, because we use the gym to get better at something else. It's not about being great in the gym, nor, unless you're training for running goals, it's not about being a great runner. Running's a tool. It's a great tool. And there's so many ways to use the tool. You can sprint, you can run intervals, you can do fartleks, you can do hills, You can do endurance running. You can run fast, you can run slow, you can run short, you can run long. So what? It's great. And it's free. You know what I mean? Run, just put your shoes on, step out your front door, and you're running. Brilliant. So if you're, and I'm pretty sure Jerry is, he's a martial artist. So presumably, he's going to use running as a conditioning tool for martial arts. Beautiful. So the goal is not running. The goal is to get some bounce in the legs and build the heart and lungs. There's a lot of ways of building the heart and lungs. It doesn't have to be long distance running. You can be on the bike, you can be on the rowing machine, you can be doing circuits. There's a whole range of stuff you can do. Simply if the goal is building cardio. Now, for the martial arts guy, I would recommend a few sprints, maybe even a few interval runs. Maybe do one sprint session a week. Maybe do an interval running session another day in the week. And if you want to do an extended zone 2 session, maybe do that off your feet. Do that on the bike. Do that on the row machine. Bounce between the bike, the rower, the ski erg, even the running machine. Why not? So, yeah, running. If you dedicate yourself to running, like I would have done historically when I switched to running phase, dedicate yourself to running. You're going to expect to lose some mass. That's fine. The beauty of that is when you come off that and you go back into a muscle building phase, you will explode. You'll just get big fast. When I train running as a martial artist, then it is simply for the bounce and for the lungs. So no, I keep muscle mass when I run as a martial artist because I'm doing lifting for strength. I'm doing high intensity conditioning for the other purposes, and I also run as well as doing the martial arts. When I ran as a kettlebell lifter, most of my training would be done with kettlebells, but a couple of days a week, you'd run. Because you want to take care of the heart. That zone 2 endurance type work, that falls under what we call stroke volume training, which is why I think your longest stuff should probably be done off your feet because it does less damage to the body. There's less if you're on a gym machine, an erg, doing zone 2, it's going to be easier to recover from than being out pounding the pavements. But our heart, stroke volume, so what it is we're filling the heart, we're allowing it to really fill up and stretch. We're looking for balance, we're looking to be well-rounded. So, oh yeah, best resource if you're looking to run better, looking to run well, if you find running hurts you and you are looking for how to stop it hurting you, the greatest resource, and I say this with all honesty, is my little buddy over in the UK, Helen Hall. You go to helen-hall.co.uk. That's her website. You get a book, which I don't have here. It's at home. The book is called Even With Your Shoes On. And it is simply the best book on running and how to find your running. Because you ain't going to run exactly the same as I would run. I don't run like Helen runs. The reason I don't run like Helen runs is she stands about that tall on me, and I could literally clean and press her with one arm. We're just very different people. So we move differently, we have different injuries, we have different histories. So what Helen will try and get you to do is go through a series of exercises and drills that help you find your running. I love that. I think her work is phenomenal. To be a good endurance athlete, you've got to be light, because you don't want to be dragging all this extra mass around with you. But if you're running for general fitness, it doesn't matter. What matters probably more is the frequency, the intensity, the heart rate you're running at. It becomes a tool in your toolbox. So very, very definitely look at it like that. There's not a whole lot more to say, really. What I would say is, if you listen to a coach and they're saying you must not do this, and this is a common trend on social media, because this is what gets people to click into a video, never do this, stop doing this. When you actually get talking to all of these coaches, they're not so hardline. They're just lying in their marketing. But anybody who says no, hardline no, you must not do, and they can't give you a proper reason, walk away from it. Yes, there are people I've told not to run, but there's always been a good reason for it. You're not going to run because your ankle's fucked, and we need to fix that first. You're not going to run because it's not commensurate with this period of training. However, we get through this, then we'll see if running comes back on the table. Do you know what I mean? It's a tool. Yes, every human being should run. It's kind of our superpower. It's how we got to the top of the food chain. It's why we have more sweat glands than any other creature per square inch. Where I think horses are second. We have the three arch structure of the foot that just gives us like leaf spring bounce. The Achilles tendon for our size is massive. Our glutes for our size are massive. That big IT band. You know what I mean? There's the anatomy. Our rib cage is unencumbered. We can breathe independently of our movement. So when we run, we're not catching our breath. We can breathe freely. We're not loading. If you crawl for time, you feel how difficult that gets to breathe because this is all loaded. But you stand up, it's free. Do you know what I mean? We're runners by design. We're endurance animals. We can outwalk and outjog anything else on the planet. We will just persist beyond. Yeah, we're not the fastest. I think we can out-accelerate a lot of quadrupedal animals over a short distance. Then there's a long period where they get ahead of us, but we eventually do catch them. Should we run? Yeah, we should. Are you going to lose muscle mass? Not necessarily. It depends on what else you're doing. And yeah, keep lifting. Unless you're a runner, but even then, I'd still recommend lifting. But if you're running as a tool for fitness, have a well-rounded fitness program. Look up this hybrid athlete idea, and that's where most people really should be aiming to be. Hybrid athlete shouldn't really be a thing. That's just general fitness. Alrighty. Hopefully this video works. It's done my nutting this last while. If you have a question or a comment, leave it down below. I'll put a link to Helen's website in the description as well. And then don't forget to do the whole like and the subscribe and the bell thing. And I'll chat to you soon.